So welcome everybody to the Okta webinar, Seamlessly Connected Everywhere. I appreciate you taking your time to join us today. It's my intention that you get a lot of value out of this, you learn something new and be able to bring some great technology back to your organization and share with your coworkers and learn more about how Okta is making a difference in our company and our clients' companies. I'd like to start by introducing the panel today. So let me go ahead and give I'll start with myself and then I'll give the other gentlemen an opportunity to introduce themselves. I'm Randy Heishover. I'm the IT director at Echo Technology Solutions. I've been with Echo for 6 years and I have been providing technical support, client management, lots of other services around advising our clients, consulting our clients on how to make their operations more efficient. Echo is known for its full service or full suite of services. Some people would refer to as a managed service provider. We provide service desk, we professional services for implementing all these great services that we are talking about today with Okta. We have network operations support and project management. We also have another division that is supporting Salesforce. So we also do a Salesforce integration. I've been in the business for many years, so I've been in IT my whole career. So I bring a large background and have been touching on all aspects of IT service delivery, software development, data integration, e-commerce, etc. So it's been a great career and I'm happy to be with you today. I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to Tucker, who's with us today from Okta.
Good afternoon, perhaps good morning for some of you. My name is Tucker McLean and wanted to thank you, Randy, and the Echo team for hosting this webinar. I've been at Okta for the past 4.5 years, managing what we call the emerging sales team, where we work with smaller and oftentimes very fast-growing organizations, most of whom have a heavy or almost entirely cloud-native footprint. Is an early proponent and adopter of cloud-based applications. The benefits are tremendous. However, there are big challenges that both IT as well as end users face, something that we'll be getting into as we get into the webinar. Now I'd like to pass it over to Peter.
Yeah, just before you go, Peter, I wanted to make sure, Tucker, you can get your video on. So take a look around and see if there's some setting that you're not presenting.
It just says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
Oh boy. Okay, I'll look and see what I've done.
Okay.
I got the same message, Randy. Anyway, let's carry on with this. So
Yes,
they'll see us soon enough.
There you go. Try.
Hi, I'm Peter Sandiford and CEO at Zerotek. Very happy to be here with you. Oh, there we go. We'll get some video here. Yes. Oh, there we go.
My bad, guys.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. Just give you a quick introduction to myself, to me, and to Zerotek. Zerotek helps MSPs secure and manage their customers' fast-growing cloud assets. So that's definitely Echo. Before starting Zerotek, I was CEO of a business that helped thousands of MSPs manage their customers' on-premise technology. Now we're taking the same approach to help MSPs manage their technology in the cloud. The essential foundation of all cloud management is identity access management. Every business, large and small, needs a robust identity management engine to succeed and compete in today's cloud-first environment. This is driving the tremendous demand that we're seeing for products like Okta. Back in 2015, Zerotek chose Okta as our partner for identity management. Today, Okta is the enterprise world leader. And based on our unique relationship with Okta, Zerotek is a world leader for MSPs managing their customers in the cloud. Zerotek includes the full functionality of Okta, but is designed exclusively for MSPs like Echo. We bring the technical and business solution to help Echo deliver enterprise-grade identity technology as a monthly managed service for SMBs. As you'll hear today, Okta is the clear innovation leader in this space. For example, working with Okta, we're totally thrilled here to be introducing passwordless authentication to MSPs later this year. This is the next generation of authentication. By choosing Echo as your MSP, you're effectively securing your cloud investments into the future. Identity is one of the top priorities of businesses everywhere in 2021. COVID has really spurred the drive on, and it's inevitable, and now it's everywhere. I'm really looking forward to participating with you in this important session, and with people like Randy and Tucker to be here with us to discuss it.
That's great. Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Tucker, for joining us. Our partnership with Okta and our partnership with Zerotek is really allowing us to really provide a full suite of services around the Okta platform. So you'll learn more about that as we go along and start to differentiate how the two partnerships are really playing out here. So with that, I'd like to take this next opportunity to introduce you to our agenda for today. We'll start by reviewing what Identity as a Service, another acronym that's being used these days for this particular solution. We'll go into what the challenges are for identity, and we'll start to introduce you in different approaches to the Okta platform, both through a video, and then I'll do a real demo towards the end. We'll go into the history of Okta, and we'll look at all the benefits and features of Okta that we really want to highlight. We'll start to give you a better sense of how the added value of Zerotek is playing into our relationship and how we're using that to introduce Okta to our clients. And like I said, we'll do the Okta demo, and then we're going to introduce you to and talk a little bit about Okta for Good, which is the nonprofit arm of Okta. And then I'll open it up for QA at the end. We can ask any questions. At any time, feel free to drop something on the chat or the QA channels. There will be an email address at the end, so for whatever reason we don't get to your question or you think of something later on, please jot that down. You can send it to us. I'll make sure that if you wanted to get it to Tucker or Peter, I'll forward it off to them and get that connection made. And then we're going to make it a little interactive as we go along. So let's go ahead and dive in further. So Identity as a Service, and we've got lots of acronyms these days: SaaS, IT as a service. Every technology these days is as a service as we move more and more to the cloud. So Identity as a Service is really describing the group of organizations, the platforms that are like Okta that are offering identity solutions that really are allowing for an administration model of the digital information and securing that digital information. So through a cloud-based application to an on-premise services, single sign-on is one of the key elements of an IDaaS, which is really how it's been started over the years. And it really has taken hold, and it is starting to evolve to a lot of other features. For example, provisioning and deprovisioning and user credential roundout is really what's in the platform. And as Peter had mentioned, and probably Tucker will mention more, it really is expanding the use cases of what an IDaaS will start to provide when it comes to identity. So we'll touch on a bunch of that as we continue forward. With that, I think it's a perfect opportunity, Tucker, for you to just start to address what are the identity challenges that this platform has been addressing, and in general, what identity platforms need to be addressing.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, there's just the simple proliferation of identity. While the benefits of cloud applications are numerous, the simple fact that a user needs to be created and administered in every different cloud application environment becomes a bit of a nightmare as the number of applications grows. For example, as an Okta employee, I have a unique user set up in at least 50 different cloud application environments, from RingCentral to Zoom to Slack to G Suite to O365, Salesforce, so on and so forth. So that's a lot of Tuckers for an administrator to set up and manage. So in a company with, say, 100 employees, and if they have access to 50 different applications, that represents 5,000 user identities that Randy, you and your team would need to be managed on behalf of that 100-person organization.
And we do, and we actually do.
Yes, and I mean, before something like an identity as a service, that was much more challenging. As an end user, the challenge is even further magnified, because having to manage a username and a complex password for each of these 50 applications that I have access to, that's a monstrous burden on me. I can't remember complex applications for 1 or 2 apps. So it also becomes a monstrous security hole if, when I, as that end user, set up the same username and password for most of these applications. If you don't have a single sign-on solution, that's really what most people do, and then that leaves you very vulnerable to having one of those or many of those accounts compromised. So it's a huge security challenge that's further exacerbated by phishing, ransomware, etc. Not to mention, it's a productivity burden if, when I forget one of these usernames or passwords, and then I need to reset them across numerous applications. That's a nightmare for me. And Randy, I can only imagine what a nightmare that would be for you and the Echo TS team. These challenges are directly addressed by an identity solution like Okta, which of course we're going to unpack a little bit more in as we continue.
You know, in this last year, moving out to the remote workforce has definitely exacerbated this and a lot more. You know, it's typically, you know, having everybody in the office, you know, and corralling around some issue has always been a much easier undertaking when there's lots of activity. But now with this, you know, this new norm, you know, keeping controls, making sure you know where everything is, who has what, you know, this platform, this has been a challenge, and this platform is starting to address that. So I'd like, now that we've been kind of talking about some of the challenges, some of the areas that we're looking at addressing around identity, I'd like to ask a question of everybody. So if I'm going to put this poll off, if you can take a minute and give me your answer. I've got a multiple choice. Let me make sure I put the right one up. So what is impacting your organization the most? And I've got some options here for you to select. So go ahead and take a moment and let us know what you think is most impactful at your company. Great, we've got a variety of answers. Give you another minute or so. We'll go ahead and wrap this up. Cool. Another 15 seconds. Go ahead, make your final decision. Okay, great. Thank you very much. So I'm going to go ahead and end that poll. And let's go ahead and share those results. So there we go. We're seeing cybersecurity being the #1. Definitely there's no surprise there. I would expect that. But clearly there are, you know, interests in the other areas, which is common depending on, you know, what kind of size of a company you are, what's the most important priorities, how much have you done already. So great. Thank you very much for answering that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that.
Perhaps Colonial Pipeline is top of mind.
Yeah, exactly. So next, I'd like to introduce you to Okta with a quick 2-minute video. So let me go ahead and get this running here.
Our lives are moving to the cloud. Apps, calendars, email, it all resides up there now. And that means we need a better way to manage and keep track of everything. The passwords, the profiles, the logins, there's just too many. And all these security measures just stress you out and prevent you from getting your job done. That's why we created Okta. Okta is a secure identity cloud that links all of your apps, logins, and devices into a single pane of glass, making it easy to access everything you need. At Okta, we understand that identity is key. Your identity doesn't reset, log off, or crash. It's with you 24/7. Whether you're online or not. With Okta Single Sign-On, you're up and running on day 1. With just one username and password, Okta seamlessly connects you to all of your favorite apps, like email, expense, CRM, and collaboration tools. So you spend less time trying to remember which username and password goes with which account, and more time getting your work done. Need access to a new app? No problem. Search for the exact app you need, and Okta adds that app to your dashboard. Okta makes it easy to customize your dashboard by dragging and dropping your apps or creating tabs. Forgot your password? We got you. Okta makes it easy to reset your password on your own, so you don't need to wait for IT. On the go? Okta understands that work happens outside the office. Our mobile app allows mobile sign-on for native and web apps, and it's all protected. So whether you're on a laptop, phone, or tablet, you can have the same seamless experience. Work shouldn't be about keeping track of all those complicated passwords or worrying about access. It should be a secure space, a place in this cluttered world that helps you be your best. And Okta is here to help.
So that's good. That's a good segue into our next section, which is Okta's brief history. And I'm going to give Tucker an opportunity to.
Our lives are moving.
Let me go to the next slide. An opportunity to speak to the history of Okta and its journey over the last decade and where it's heading.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. So as you can see, we were founded back in 2009 by our co-founders, Todd McKinnon, Freddie Crest. They were both early leaders that I had the great fortune to work with at Salesforce many, many years ago. And they recognized this potential challenge of identity management in the cloud. And in first building out Okta, they built really what's the core of Okta, what we call Universal Directory, which acts like an Active Directory or an LDAP in the cloud. And very conveniently for organizations that have an AD or LDAP environment, Universal Directory syncs with those existing directories to extend single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, and provisioning, what we refer to as lifecycle management, across a ton of applications, which today represent by far the largest network of pre-integrated solutions of any identity provider. For many, or even most newer organizations, Okta included, they opt to not even use an Active Directory or an LDAP and to simply leverage Okta as their user identity provider and user source of truth. Over the past several years, the demand for a cloud-based directory for customer identity has been exploding, which led Okta and another leading cloud identity provider, Auth0, to merge their efforts in acquisition that we just finalized in the very beginning of May of this year. As this new space continues to evolve, both organizations are moving towards smarter access involving MFA, biometrics, and to ultimately move towards a more secure posture that does not involve passwords. So that's a little bit of the history of Okta and now Auth0.
That's good, Tucker. And I just in thinking about it and being involved with Okta over the years, there's been very much a business focus. It's been very much about making the efficiencies available to the business organizations. And there's just you've got so much traction and so much market share at this point that it really helps set the stage to moving this outside of the business to the consumer and really start to handle a lot of the use cases in identity, kind of like a, voter ID or social security number or something like that. So I don't know if there's anything you want to say to that and where Okta's vision goes.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this vision that I think Todd's had it really since back at Salesforce in the early 2000s, that there really should be a universal identity for access to all applications, not just your business applications, but think about how many applications you manage on your phone and the identities associated to those. So that whole customer identity is really booming. And our mission is to ultimately make it really easy, seamless, but incredibly secure for any user to access any application, any type of technology.
That's great. Thank you, Tucker. So, we've been saying a lot about the different features and benefits. We just keep, mentioning them in our, our introductions. We've been mentioning it in our history. We've been mentioning it throughout. But really, from a single sign-on, that is, like always on single sign-on. You'll see in the demo when I do it soon, it really is going to make that experience really simple. You don't have to remember your complex passwords, and you're not going to end up using the same password on 50 different cloud apps that, you know, one is breached and all of a sudden they try to get on all the other 49. So it really keeps that, you know, uniqueness in play. Authentication, which is really, you know, important these days to protect you from brute force attacks. That makes, you know, that's, or even these stolen credentials that are happening in the, you know, every day. So you want to have that, you know, it's a biometric, is it a verify, is it a code that's sent to your phone, et cetera, and that continues to evolve on how that layer is starting to be more involved in protection. Is it a device that is permissioning you? Security reports, you know, especially around, you know, compliance or knowing why there's a security access that wasn't expected. You know, can you use the logs and the audit files that are being tracked of all the logins, so that if there is a rule that's put in play that, you know, you want to be monitoring for behavioral activity, that someone logged in New York on at 1 minute and all of a sudden they're logging in another country, it's like that's a red flag. So you have a lot of capability around that, that kind of opportunity to bring more into the mix. User provisioning, so important. Onboarding new employees and offboarding employees exiting. It's a big efficiency issue. It's a big security issue. And being able to provision the license, and it's also a financial, because your licenses are just sitting out there. When you let go of an employee, they just sit there maybe for, you know, half a year. You didn't realize your count was, you know, you were paying monthly on a higher license count. So the provisioning of the licenses and the unprovisioning of licenses with these other cloud apps is really great feature. And the security components of removing people as soon as they leave. And then like Tucker had mentioned, the integration with the security directory is allowing for a lot more than just sign-on capabilities. It's allowing for these updates of attributes between systems. So the API relationships between two systems with these federated credentials being able to have a lot more capability with each other. So there's a lot going on there. I don't know if Tucker or Peter, you want to jump in with anything else with regards to features and benefits, but please do.
I might just jump in really quickly. Not only does Okta do the integration with all of those, what we refer to as downstream applications, the user applications, but we also integrate with a lot of the leading cloud-based HR-based applications, so that from the initial, even from recruiting an application to an HR, those will integrate with Okta, so that you're not, you know, HR is not sending an Excel file or an email sending it to IT saying, hey, we have these new users, set them up. You can actually streamline that entire process and fully automate it, which does enhance the efficiency, the end user productivity, and as you already mentioned, Randy, the security through that.
It's great. The trigger is, you know, that HR trigger is just, you know, gold, you know, and having that kickoff or the termination and have it the back out. So it goes either way. Well, you know, Peter, it's a perfect opportunity to kind of segue into the add value of Zerotek and, you know, the features and benefits of that. So I'll go ahead and just move to your slide and have you jump in.
Well, Zerotek, of course, is a cloud management product for MSPs, but identity is the absolute foundation of cloud management. So this was the starting point for us to build anything that does anything in this area. You must have identity management. So we needed to make the right choice. We spent months assessing all the major players. We were literally blown away by Okta and have never looked back. You know, their reliability, ease of use, open standards, extensive applications, support, and clear vision were exactly what we needed. In 2019, we entered a formal agreement with Okta as their strategic partner for MSPs. Most of the product is designed to streamline and simplify the work of MSPs to help them provide faster and more reliable services. But there are some direct end user benefits too. Let's look at some of those. One of them is pay-as-you-go monthly licensing. That means you only pay for what you use and when you use it with no upfront annual payments. This is great for staged rollouts or for many businesses with seasonal workforces. And because licenses are monthly, it allows many MSPs to incorporate these essential security and productivity benefits that you've been hearing about about Okta right into the existing monthly per user pricing plans that typically MSPs have, and I know Echo runs. The second big feature is quick provisioning. With Zerotek, Echo can set up a full production version of Echo for trials or demos in just minutes and evolve that into a full service with nothing more than an added line in your Echo services agreement. No contracts. MSP help desk services. Well, I mentioned that we, our main customers are the MSPs to help their own services, but that has a big benefit for users too. One of the most popular services that MSPs can offer with Zerotek is our help desk MFA security challenge. Hackers have created a new threat vector by calling MSP service desks requesting a password change. On-the-spot verification is always a challenge. In 30 seconds, with Zerotek, help desk staff can verify all inbound calls, protecting your business from this growing threat. Reporting and audits. Okta has fantastic audits, but we go beyond this to track and report on the actions of every technician and user that has any interaction with any of the applications for powerful central auditing and rapid issue resolution. Very strong relationship with Okta. I mean, we've been working with them for 5 years, and the relationship just keeps getting stronger and stronger. We meet every 2 weeks in the executive level, covering both technical and business topics. We participate in testing product features, and of course, advocate for features that MSPs need to access the full power of Okta for their customers. Together with Okta, we're confident we can help MSPs like Echo continue to deliver essential services that businesses everywhere urgently need. So back to you, Randy.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I mean, our relationship with both Okta and Zerotek is very strong, and Zerotek is really helping us augment the ability to, like Peter had said, to spin up real quickly. It really gives us that month-to-month pay-as-you-go model, which is really perfect to include it in our plans. So it definitely has an easier entry for us to get our clients up and running on Okta. What I'd like to do is go ahead and give you a demonstration of Okta in real time here. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing this screen. Wait, actually, I want to show you this screen first before I stop sharing. So it's going to be hard with my camera for you to see my phone, but I will go ahead and put my phone on audio so you can hear it. This is what's going to pop up on my screen during the sign-on process, which is the Okta Verify. This is the MFA layer for beyond my credentials to get into Okta. So let me go ahead and stop this. I'm going to go ahead and share my other screen. Okay, here we go. Great. So what you're on right now is my Chrome browser. You can see here in the login, it's echots.okta.com. So you get your kind of your custom domain in front of the Okta, and it takes you into the login page. Now, I want to demonstrate one thing before I go here. One of the features that we talked about with the provisioning and unprovisioning is, connecting to these other services, and with the directory, having the integration. Well, one of the secured trusts is SAML, which creates a trusted relationship between Okta and another platform like O365. And I believe I have O365 signed off, but if I try to sign in to O365 right now, let me see if it works for me. Notice what happens when I go to the login. Okay, it was still logged in, so let me log it off from my earlier connection. Sorry about that. I want to log off. Okay, so I meant to have that done before we started. Silly Randy. So let me go ahead and do that again. So if I try to sign in, let's see what happens. If I try to sign into the account, notice that it's taking me to the Okta login. I can't log in directly to Office 365. So I've protected my Office 365 with an Okta as required to get into Office 365. So now let me continue with the login. So I'll go ahead and put my username and credential. And then it pops up with the multi-factor authentication. When you're doing Okta, you have multiple options you can use, and you can allow your users to have multiple options. You can enable them or disable them. In this case, you can see I have 3 of them: Okta Verify, the Google Authenticator, or an SMS to my phone. So I'm going to use the Okta Verify, and it's going to send a push. And then, you know, some clients and users are already familiar with push, where you're getting it on your phone. See if you hear it. I don't know if you heard that, but now on my phone, I'm getting that screen I showed you a moment ago, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone here, and I'm going to click, yes, it's me. And then all of a sudden it should start logging me in. So now I'm logged in, and I'll take us to my so this is that view that you saw during the video, where you have the tabs and you have the, what I refer to as chiclets. And is that the technical term, Tucker, chiclets?
A tile or a chiclet, I think they're both in vogue.
Title, okay. Okta does have a new dashboard view, but I've been using Okta so long, I like staying on the classic. So here's the new version. So you have the different tabs here with the different tiles. And then if I go back, if I go back to the old, which is the one I like playing with, I have a demo tab here. So for instance, there are multiple different ways of, configuring. You can have your connection be using your current Active Directory credentials and federated with Okta, so that you're logging in and you don't even have to enter anything because it's already using those credentials. Or you could have a user credential that is shared across multiple multiple users. So you don't want to give that to the users and you want the system to enter that for you. Or you could have an app where you're logging in with your credentials. So the first time you log in, it remembers it from that point forward. So I've got different variations here. For instance, I believe if I look at the Zoom one, you can see that it's managed by the IT admin. So this is one that's locked from me seeing. I can't see the credentials. It's most likely using either my Active Directory credential. I suspect this one is. So if I click on this one, it will go ahead to the Zoom and log me right in. So I could actually log out of this, sign out, and I can try it again. Let me go ahead and come back over here, try it again, and it logs me back right in. So all day long, you know, as long as I'm logged into Okta, and you can set Okta to timeout, so it depends on what your rules are. It could be a shorter time. Mine is, I believe, a half a day. I think mine's the whole day. Another one is Calendly, sorry. So this one is signing in, and it's using a credential that I have entered, but you see how it's populating it for me? And then I go in. Now, this one I thought would go in automatically, but in any case, it did populate it for me. And I can again log out. If I look at this one's setup, you can see that I have the ability to change the password. I can see the password. It will reveal if I put in my credential, my Okta credential, if I want to see it. So I can, you know, do that one more time. So in this case, I don't know if I delay it a little bit longer. It looks like it's not taking it all away. A lot of the applications will go in directly without a delay. So that could be a configuration issue, or that could be something else that I'm not aware of. Expensify, again, this is one that is managed by the back end. I don't have to, I believe I have, let me see, do I have that set up with my credential? See, I don't have access to that either. So that one takes me right in. If I log out, as long as I'm logged in here, it's just going to take me right back in. And then you have the ability to organize yourself. You can create a tab, and you can drop in, you know, and organize how you'd like to have your different tiles in different groups. And our company does not have the add app feature turned on, but you could self-serve. You could have your users be self-serve and have the library of all the applications that you're allowing your company to use so that they don't get, overburdened with the ones they don't use, and they can select them when they want. Or you could have them assigned to groups by the administrator, so when they log in, it automatically adds. So is there anything else, Tucker or Peter, that you think I should show, or that was good?
No, I think that's great. I mean, I use the Chrome plugin to store every personal username and password I have in Okta. So I have my own personal tab, and literally like Facebook and airlines and credit cards, banking info, I have it all in there. Other people may use their own personal tools for it, but I trust Okta. So that's where I keep it, all my
Yeah,
personal
you can make a Chrome plugin if you want. It just makes, a drop down up here instead of going to the dashboard. So you have that option. Perfect. So let me go ahead and I have a QA question here. Let's see. What is partner tab? Oh, sorry. So that was just, so partner tab, someone's asking what partner tab is. That's just my freeform name of that tab. You can make the tabs anything you want. I happen to have partnership partner portals that I go off to, and I keep them all in here. So you can, I have the HR ones here. I have my work ones here. And one other feature I didn't tell you about is during the setup under general, you can click this launch the app when you sign into Okta. I actually turned them off for this demo, but I have these 6 at the top here all turned on. So as soon as I log in, all 6 of them launch. And then I have all my 6 tabs open first thing in the morning.
Which is hugely convenient just to be able to do that. You're going to go into these 3 applications no matter what. You just set them to launch by default.
Exactly. And then Albert is asking if he can create tabs for all his different companies he manages. There are a limit, I think, in the old version. Is the new version have a limit to how many tabs you could open up?
I don't believe there is. I think there's just the UI limitation, depending on how big your screen is.
Okay, I'll have to get back to you on that. Let me go back to my presentation. Okay, and then so I want to give Tucker. Tucker sounds like Okta. I want to give Tucker an opportunity to share with us about Okta for Good and the nonprofit arm. So let me go ahead and give you that slide.
Thank you. So when I joined Okta a little over 4 years ago, one of the reasons I joined, they had already announced the formation of Okta for Good. They just hired an executive director who actually was in my new hire class, who is absolutely wonderful, and the team is phenomenal. So Okta for Good is on a mission to strengthen the connections between people, technology, and community. We do this by mobilizing the best of Okta, our people, our products, and our financial resources to give back. We know that many nonprofits face, especially in an increasingly cloud-forward world, a perfect storm of risk. This is something that was actually coined by one of our nonprofit customers, but nonprofits tend to have more sensitive data and information that needs to be protected. Securing access to this data is arguably more critical and impactful to the broader social benefits of our communities, both nationally and internationally. Not only has Echo been a certified Okta implementation partner for the last 4 years, but you guys are one of just a handful of launch partners for Okta for Good's nonprofit specialized service delivery program, which is fantastic. Thank you, Randy and Echo team. Kudos to you all. What I think will probably be most easy to kind of get your head around is that Okta for Good has established what we call the 50/50 program, where we provide the first 50 licenses donated in perpetuity to any qualified nonprofit, nationally or internationally, and any and all additional licenses offered at least a 50% discount. It's an incredibly generous offer. We now have over 1,100 nonprofits using Okta, some of the largest nonprofits, several NetHope nonprofits, but then the many smaller nonprofits that my team takes care of, who might be less than 50 employees and can literally leverage Okta for free, other than the cost of actually getting the service implemented properly. Which is something that, again, Randy and the Echo team can certainly assist with.
That's, that is so awesome. And I'm so grateful for Okta doing that. Very generous. So thank you very much, Okta. Thank you, Tucker, for sharing that. I know that we're coming up on the 12:45. We've got 2 minutes. So we're right here at one last question I'd like to ask, and we'll give you a few seconds. So what you have heard, what is most important? Let me know what is most important. Let me go ahead and change the question here, put it up for you. Please let me know what is most important. Here's some multiple choice options for you. Yeah, it seems like it has a similar flavor to the other question. I think I'm getting a similar response. So go ahead and take a couple more seconds and respond, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it up. So we've got about half people responded. I'll give them another 5 seconds. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for answering. So clearly, security is definitely the #1. No surprise. And enforcing compliance tends to go with security anyway. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. Let me stop sharing that. And let me bring my last slide up. So first, I want to thank you all for attending, taking your time today to learn about Okta. There is the email address that right there, sales@ecots.com. Get any of your questions, any of your follow-up. You would like to talk more about an implementation. You'd like to talk to Tucker or Peter about what they're doing. We are on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are giving away a $40 gift certificate. We have a raffle that we'll do afterwards. We'll send it to whoever, to the 20 plus that have, whatever the number is that are attending here. We also are offering a free 30-minute security assessment if you're interested. A really nice couple hours of effort to turn something like that around. So please send a request to sales@ecots.com. And we also are making available an Okta trial. So if you'd like to get an Okta trial, 30-day Okta trial, please reach out to us. We'll help with some of the initial installation activity for free. And I can let you know more about that. I know that we're at the end. If you want to stick around for a few minutes to ask some questions, we're not running anywhere, so please feel free. Again, stay healthy, stay safe. We appreciate your time. And Tucker and Peter, feel free to sign off with your goodbye.
Just wanted to say thanks for joining us, and I think it's safe to say for every successful Okta deployment, once an end user is up and live on Okta, they're like, how did we get by before this? And I will never go back.
So there is a question about how long does it typically take to implement Okta? Depends on the amount of applications you're implementing, and it depends on how many users. So there is a formula, but we've seen projects as low as maybe 15, 20 hours up to, close to 100 hours, depending on the size of the organization. So you definitely want to reach out to get a better scoping of that. And then what about MSP partnerships with Echo? We are an MSP. So we have partnerships with Okta. We have partnerships with Zerotek. And we do have partnerships with some of the national MSPs to be able to help us in cities that we don't cover for our on-site visits. So Albert, if there's any interest there, feel free to reach out to me to talk more about it. Anything else for anybody? I still see that there's some people on here, so maybe there are some questions. We'll give you a couple more minutes. Peter, anything you'd like to say?
No, just thank you very much for the opportunity to participate in this, because it's I just think the topic and the content that you put together, Randy, here is so good, and this is such an important topic. Talking to MSPs and small businesses, and they're really just beginning to understand how important this is. And I think this session really has some great content for the companies I know that were able to attend. So I thank you very much. It was a great pleasure.
You're welcome. And we have recorded this session, so we will clean that up a little from the beginning and the end to make sure that it's, it's got a good start and a good end time. And we'll go ahead and probably post that on our website for future viewing. So if you have folks that didn't make it today and you'd like to share it with them, you can keep an eye out for that link.
All right.
Well, very good. Well, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and end. Again, have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy.